Are you an entrepreneur or investor seeking to understand the role of lifestyle habits in maintaining mental health and well-being? Are you looking for practical advice from a leading expert in the field? If so, this clip is for you. Meet Tobias Silberzahn, a trained biochemist and a partner in McKinsey's Berlin office. He's a member of the healthcare and innovation practice focusing on healthcare innovation, health tech business building, and digital transformation. Within McKinsey, Tobias also leads the health and well-being program for employees, focusing on sleep, nutrition, stress management, and fitness. In the following clip, Tobias delves into the importance of sleep, nutrition, mobility, fitness, and purpose in maintaining mental health and well-being. Let's dive in.
Then when we now, being originally a biochemist, looking at sort of the foundation, right, it makes sense because at the end of the day in our daily lives, right, there are 4 or 5 things that are really impacting health and well-being and the person, and that is sleep, that is nutrition, that is mobility and fitness, that is stress management, and for many people also then the topic of purpose, underlying motivation, social connections, of course, plays a big role, right? And if we just quickly look at the impact that sleep has on mental health, and then the impact that movement has on mental health, right? So if we do a little thought experiment and would say, I sleep too little, and I walk too little, right? Both of those things just biochemically have a negative impact on my mental health and well-being. So therefore, right, mental health and mental well-being, right, and those factors that we just talked about is actually something for everyone.
That's a great point. I would like to dig a little bit deeper and use your expertise as a biochemist. It was in the 90s when I started getting interested in what does it need to stay healthy. So back in the 90s, every time when I talked with my doctor or with other doctors or physicians in Europe, they mostly focused on treating diseases. And most of the questions I had were around, how can I stay healthy? What do I have to do to not get sick at all? And I didn't get answers. Where I got answers was in martial arts, but unfortunately, the ways of the martial arts are great, they work, and there are many great masters. For example, in the Shaolin Temple in 2014, I was in the Shaolin Temple, or also in Japan, but it's not very scientifically, or it has not been very scientifically proven. The points they brought up back in the 90s were similar to the points that you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that in order to stay healthy, people need to sleep, need to exercise, need to take care of their nutrition, and also social connection and purpose. Can we talk a little bit further about these 4 topics, why they are so important from the McKinsey and the biochemist point of view? Let's start with sleep. Why does sleep play such a crucial role in staying healthy?
Yeah, and thank you for the question. It's a wonderful topic, and it's fascinating research behind it from a biochemical, and then also sort of how then the biochemistry of our body then affects our feeling and mental health and well-being, right? So if we start with sleep, then there is sort of 2 topics, right? There is the topic of duration, and then there is the topic of do I get the deep sleep, etc., right? Why does deep sleep matter? During deep sleep, which is usually the sleep that happens in the first half of the night, right? We sleep in 90-minute cycles, and then in the early 90-minute cycles, then ideally deep sleep takes place, right? This is really where the body restores and where growth hormone is secreted, right? And the key thing is, if there is no deep sleep, then there is the secretion of growth hormone, which is then helping us regenerate, is diminished, or let's see, reduced, which then means, right, that sometimes sleep doctors, they deal with people who then say, well, I sleep 9 hours, but I still feel terrible in the morning. I still feel tired in the morning, right? And then when they do the diagnosis, etc., then sometimes they find that, yes, this person slept 9 hours, but there were only 5 minutes of deep sleep. And if there's 5 minutes of deep sleep, right, the literature usually talks more about ideally, 90 minutes of deep sleep, right? Then you can imagine, right? If there is only 5 minutes of deep sleep versus 90 minutes of deep sleep, that is then, of course, a reason why people then feel tired in the morning, right? And if that continues over many, many days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years, right, that then has very detrimental effects for the body. Right? But since you started out with mental health, right, this has then also a link towards the mental health and well-being, right? And I think one of the politicians once said that after they had negotiated in Europe, in Brussels, through the whole night, right? They said, well, if I'm massively sleep deprived, right, I'm not a very inspirational person anymore the next day, right? But it pretty much means if we sort of are severely sleep deprived or have these sometimes even medical problems, that we don't get enough deep sleep, that then means that at the end of the day, we are increasing our level of anxiety via bad sleep, right?
That was Tobias Silberzahn sharing his expert insights on the importance of lifestyle habits in maintaining mental health and well-being. If you found this information valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Please share this episode with others who could benefit from it. Your engagement makes a difference. By liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, you are helping to attract more expert speakers like Tobias, which means more valuable content for you. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support and for being a part of this journey.